So when we finally don't find, and at any instant could be this instant, why not this instant? That we keep looking for ourselves for something specific and we keep not finding, right? I've done the inquire, I ask who am I, and I don't know, I can't figure it out. Well, why don't you know? Why don't you know? Why does your mind keep coming back with that conclusion? Maybe it's something that goes like this. I'm looking for myself, dear teacher. I'm looking inside. And I was sure I was here before I looked. And now that I'm looking, I can't find anything. And then you go, I must have screwed it up. I didn't get the answer. I still don't know who I am. Nothing's changed. No flash of recognition. Nothing's happened. I screwed up. I got to look again. Who am I? Well, let me look. Well, I failed. I screwed it up. I knew I was a spiritual failure. I had no inherent talent in all of this. And I'm always on the outside, right? And I always will be. But what the hell? I'll look again one more time before I just give up on this whole charade, you know? Let me look again. And once again, right? Failure, right? It always reminds me of that, remember that, I think it was the Thanksgiving Day Peanuts cartoon, Charlie Brown, where Lucy holds the football for him to kick on the ground, and every year, you know, she pulls the football away at the last second, and he kicks it, he does a couple of flips and falls on his ass. And I always think, for the last 2 decades, every time I see that, I'm like, that's like self-inquiry. You dust yourself off. You take another run at it, you know. I'm sure Lucy won't pull the ball out this time, you know. I've never found myself any other time I've asked the question, but this time I will succeed, you know. And before you know, you're just sitting there kind of embarrassed and downtrodden. And I knew I'd never really, you know. And the reason is because we're not actually trusting our own perception. We're not trusting our own perception. We're caught in our expectation. We still think we're going to find something, even though our experience will show us over and over and over and over and over and over and over. When you really look instead of think about it, of course, if you think about it, you can always find a self, as long as you're thinking about it. And then you stop thinking about it, and it's gone. But at any moment, at some point, you might actually begin to believe what you're seeing, which is I look, and the reason I can't find myself as anything specific, as anything in the field of consciousness, maybe because there isn't one there. The only one that was ever there was the one that my mind put there. Now, what then am I? Well, you're the only thing that's left. And it's happening right now. And it has nothing to do with twisted states of consciousness or other dimensions. You can experience all that stuff. But if you ever go into any other dimension of consciousness, you're still going to be the same thing that you are right here and right now. And there will be one thing and only one thing that's the same in any state of consciousness you might end up, in any dimension of being you might find yourself. And if you're waiting for me to tell you the answer, you're not actually doing what I'm asking you to do. You're not paying attention to your own perception. If any part of you is waiting, it means you're not looking at what I'm saying. What's the answer? What's he going to say? What am I? You know? That means I'm not looking for myself. I'm not standing in my own authority. I'm not actually really ruthlessly being with my own perception. I'm still waiting to be told. And I'm just suggesting you don't need to do that. So right in your own being, the field of consciousness. Not what you're conscious of, that's always changing. But consciousness as such. As I said earlier, we look past it because consciousness as such, on first touch, on first noticing, is very unextraordinary. And so we go, that's not much. I think I'll look for something more entertaining. And again, then we leave ourselves, don't we? We leave. We move away. Not because we don't find anything, but because our mind doesn't like what we find. I don't want to be that. I want to be something extraordinary. But just imagine this, that even though it seems like nothing at all, it seems very ordinary at first touch, that perhaps that's just the first touch. And I'm not baiting you to then think you're going to find something that's going to make you extraordinary. I'm just saying, don't imagine that your first noticing of this to be completely extraordinary. Don't expect that. So right now, and everyone is in their own field of consciousness, field of awareness. And it's possible, in fact, it's somewhat probable, that even at this moment, you're looking into the field of your own awareness. There's still can be that little bit of me noticing awareness. And you just turn it around. Where is that me? Oops, it's not there. I thought I was the one that was aware. I thought I was the one who was conscious. But when you look for that one, you keep not finding it. This is probably the primary, when you get right down to the ground of it, the fundamental illusion or misunderstanding. That I am the one that is right now conscious. Instead of, if there is any I you want to speak of at all, I am the consciousness itself. There isn't a me back there that's conscious. That's why you never find it. That's the little trick of self-inquiry. As long as you come up with a really groovy spiritual answer, you're still in the realm of thought. But when you get right down to the groundwork, the very fundamental misperception, I am the one that's aware. There is the difference between the ordinary state of confusion and identification is I am aware. That's the normal state of identification. That's what it's all based on. And the door to liberation is saying, no, there isn't some little entity that is aware. There isn't a little me in there. Awareness itself is aware.